In this video, I want to address the one question that comes up very often when I confront or just talk to somebody about why they haven't been coming out to church. And he or she will say to me, well, I feel so hypocritical when I come to church. I'm surrounded by all these people that seem really to love the Lord, have their act together, and I see my life and I know I don't have my act together. I'm disappointing a lot of people. I'm in addictions and sins that really constantly have control over my life, and I just don't have the face to bring up to God when I come to church. And I totally feel exactly what you're talking about, and it sucks. It's miserable, especially if you know God, because God deserves so much better from you than for you to be living in sin and then bringing all that into His church. Of course. And that kind of condemnation and guilt could rest very heavily on your shoulders, and I totally understand why you would want to avoid that by just not coming out to church altogether. But having said that, let me ask you to think seriously about that excuse. Why you're not coming to church because you feel hypocritical when you come to church. People who ask that kind of a question usually consider themselves true born-again believers. And if you consider yourself a true Christian, let me ask you something. When are you being most authentic? When you are being a Christian, or when you're acting like a non-Christian? In other words, think about it this way. When are you being most hypocritical, child of God? When you are at home, at church, with other believers, conflicted as you are on the inside, but pouring your heart before God, repenting and getting things right and enjoying His forgiveness and acceptance? Is that when you are being hypocritical? Or as a child of God, as a Christian, as righteous in Jesus Christ, you go out into the world and live in sin and get all caught up in your addictions again. When are you being hypocritical? I want to tell you, child of God, you're being hypocritical when you are acting like a slave to your sin. And as weird as it may feel, as uncomfortable as it may be, when you as a child of God come back home, come to church, that's when you are being most real. You want to be real? You want to be authentic? You want to run away from being hypocritical? Then come home. That's what the children of God do. Be real and come home.